This episode of the Insurance Dream podcast is sponsored by Viva Virtual Assistants. With Viva, you can save over 60% of the cost of hiring a full-time employee. Not to mention employees are impossible to find right now. Viva makes the whole process easy and affordable with college-educated, bilingual virtual assistants that operate in the convenient central time zone. Go to vivavs.com and see why hundreds of insurance agencies across the United States have chosen Viva for their administrative staffing needs. Again, that's vivavs.com.
All right, we are here today talking about the Insurance Dreams Fast Track Appointment Program. We provide direct appointments for your independent insurance agency. We're going to be going through. My name is Abe. This is Dustin over here, right there. And we're going to be going through kind of just an overview of the program. We know your time is valuable. We're going to make this as brief as possible, but we would ask that you kind of just zoom in here so that way you get the full benefit of this webinar. And we're going to run through the whole program for you. We'll let Dustin kick off the first slide here.
Yeah, for sure. So what we're looking at here is the phases of our program, right? Phase 1, 2, and 3, kind of the highlights of our program. At the top of each section, right there above phase 1, 2, and 3 is kind of like your benefits, right? What you're getting for each phase. Phase 1 is mostly where you're going to start at with each carrier. You're going to have the direct access, the binding authority. Throughout our whole program, you maintain 100% ownership of your book of business. You have access to a membership portal through our website, free access to our multi-rater, and then appetite guides and much more in phase 1. Phase 2, and we see at the bottom, sorry I didn't mention, but at the bottom, we see like the responsibilities from the agent. So what you basically have to do to get to each phase, essentially. And so to get to phase 2 is when you reach $75,000 in written premium with a carrier with an acceptable loss ratio and a balanced book of business. And so the benefits of phase 2 is when you get the true subcode, which allows you to get the carrier downloads as well as the production reports, and then your agency's name on the policy deck pages. Phase 3 of our program is when you reach $200,000 in written premium per carrier with an acceptable loss ratio and a balanced book of business. That's when you receive the direct appointment formally with the carrier, and then 100% of the commissions go to you.
Perfect. And then I'm going to go ahead for this next slide here. I'm going to put in our chat here. I'm going to put a link, and this link is right here on the next slide. It's ftap.insure/register. So on this, and I'm going to do a screen share. It's going to be in a couple of phases here because of the way that we have to do this. Let's see. So on the Fast Track Appointment Program, this is that page. And so you scroll down. There's a couple of different things here. So there's a step 1 and then a step 2. Some people get confused when they click on this link, and I'll show you that link here in a minute. But they get confused because they think that that registers them. That does not register you. It's a carrier selection tool to help you determine what appointments are going to be beneficial for your agency based on your location and based on what you write. And I'll show you that tool here in just a minute. So once you do this, you want to come back here to step number 2, and you want to enter in your information right here. There is some more product information right here. It tells you Aegis does mobile homes, dwelling, fire, not available on Easy Rater. And we've got a whole bunch of carriers here that are available to you. But again, you're going to want to know what's available to you in your state. So you're going to come up here, and then down here you can submit. And this starts the onboarding process after you sign your contract. But we're going to go way back up to the top here, and we're going to click on, let's see, we will click on the commercial lines carriers. So here is our commercial lines carriers. So let's say my state that I'm located in, I'm in Arizona. Let's say on the commercial line side, I write BOP and GL, I write bonds, and I'm looking for appointments for commercial auto. So this tells you exactly who you are, available to onboard with, for bonds, for commercial auto, if you need any professional liability, workers' comp, we can throw that in there, and there's a lot of options here. So this is a really comprehensive tool, and basically it does the same thing on the personal line side. I can show you that real quick too. If you want to enter your name and your email address right here and then click on this receive matches, it will tell you, it will send you your customized list to your email address. So that way, if maybe you don't have time to onboard today, or maybe you need to go grab your errors and omissions certificate, fill out your W-9, whatever you need to do to get that onboarding process ready, these results will be, sitting in your email inbox waiting for you when you're ready to get registered. So I'm going to head back over here. And I'm going to go ftap.insure. We're going to click on the register page. We're going to go back over here. I'm going to show you the personal lines tool real quick. Again, I am in Arizona. I am writing or needing markets for auto, home, personal watercraft and ATV, and umbrella maybe. And so again, it's giving me a real quick, comprehensive list here of all the carriers that write those lines of business that I am looking for in my home state. If you operate in more than one state, you can check it out, on the list here. You can't see the drop down when I click on it. I think it's a screen sharing thing. But let's say that I also write in Georgia. Ta-da! Now you can see what's available in Georgia. So this is a really good tool. And again, you can receive your matches down here, but you're going to want to go back and you're going to want to fill out the registration page here in order to actually onboard with those carriers. That tool is excellent for helping you pick out who you want to become appointed with, but that will not actually get you registered. So just keep that in mind as you're going out through that process. Let's see, I'm going to restart this presentation and we'll move on to the next slide. Go ahead.
Yeah, so right here is kind of like the life cycle from the program, right? So it's going to start at the top there you'd complete your onboarding, you'd obtain direct access with one or more carriers, however many you select, and then you'd begin on phase 1 or phase 2, depending on the carrier you onboard with. You'd work to sell policies just like you do, and then you'd get paid through Bill.com. When you're eligible for your first commission statement, right, that will be sent to you, and you'd be able to notate in there how you want that payment, whether direct deposit or a check mailed to you. And then you'd reach $75,000 in written premium per carrier to move to phase 2 with that carrier, and then eventually get to the $200,000 mark in premium with a balanced book of business, an acceptable loss ratio, and then that would equal the direct appointment with that carrier formally. And then at any point in time when you need more carriers, it starts back over in that whole process.
Go back and do it again. Absolutely.
Yep.
So let's say, what else does the FTAP program come with? So we have access to more than 30 carriers. We have a free multi-rater for you to use. Additional carriers you can access. They're added throughout the year. We get a consistent amount of new carriers being added to our program, which is really nice. We also have an agent referral program where you can refer an agent to us and then you can get an override on their production. So that's kind of cool too. Our commissions are paid via EFT or check, as Dustin just said, through Bill.com. So, we don't see any of your account or routing number information, anything like that. Bill.com, they're a huge company. They've been doing this for a long time. It's a great platform. So if you switch banks or you want to, switch from getting a direct deposit to a paper check or a paper check to a direct deposit, you just log into your Bill.com portal. It's completely free for you to use. We pay the fee for you. And that way you can select your preferred payment method and get funds processed that way. There's a quick commission payment turnaround time. Some of the times we get, so basically we pay on the 25th of every month. Some of the commission statements, and commission deposits are still coming in from the carrier on the 15th, 16th, 17th of that month. So, let's say that we're sitting in June or something, right? So if the carrier pays us on the 15th of June, you will receive that payment on the 25th of June. So it's a very short turnaround time. And we know that's important to agents. Cash flow is king. So we try and get you your money as quickly as possible. We have a lot of carrier training opportunities, both live and pre-recorded. We have a whole library online full of different trainings that you can attend or your staff can attend to learn about these different carriers, learn how to quote, learn what appetites look like, things like that. We have a very robust appetite guide, as you just saw. It'll help you narrow down exactly what your risk is in the state that you're writing it, and then let you know on the personal line side which carriers write it, on the commercial line side who writes those general lines of business, and then you can pull up that carrier appetite guide to look through to see if the SIC code that you're writing is something that carrier does. So we have friendly agent assistance 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. We're always here for you. You can email us, you can call us, you can, however you need to get a hold of us, we're here to help. And many of our carriers you start with in phase 2 of the program, which is just kind of an added bonus, right? And it gives you access to the carrier downloads and, additional staff logins, stuff like that is really helpful for your agency from day one. So that's pretty cool. When you call in, you can ask us about which carriers are available directly into phase 2. So that is a perk.
Yep. And so kind of the initial cost, right? Looking at the program and everything like that. There's just a couple of setup fees for onboarding. So we see here, if you add one carrier, there's only a single carrier out of all the lists that you saw that you want to onboard with. It's a one-time payment of $250, right? And then the same for 2 is another $250, so $500. 3 carriers is $750. And then we have 4 or more carriers is going to be $1,000 per transaction. And what that means when we say that, right, 4 or more carriers in a single transaction. So that'd be if you got 4 carriers today, it's one-time $1,000 payment. But if you wanted, right, if there was other carriers, you're like, maybe in the future I'd want them, but if you wanted to onboard with them right then and there, keep your login active and so forth, you could even select every single carrier on our list in your first transaction, and it'd be a one-time payment of $1,000. And then we have our monthly subscription option as well. That's $350 to set up, and then $100 a month, and that's going to basically select all the carriers as well that are on our list, all of them that you're wanting, and then gives you the added bonus to, say 6 months down the road, there's a new carrier that we get onto our program, and you want that carrier. With the subscription option, you could automatically onboard with that carrier, and that's at any time too. Even if some we've had from day one, right? You could onboard with them 10 months down the road into the program too.
Yep, absolutely. What I see a lot of is, a lot of the people that know exactly what they want, and they're like, I just need this. Those are the people that a lot of times pay the one-time fee, because that makes sense, right? Because they're not have ongoing needs. But, maybe an agency that is new and doesn't quite know what their needs are going to be in, 6 months or a year from now, but they know that maybe the carriers they're onboarding with are not going to be the right fit, or, they'll want to try a different carrier, or, if you're an established commercial lines agency, reselling, or cross-selling to, your business clients for a personal lines book, like you don't really know what that's going to look like until you get in there and start quoting and trying to bind and stuff like that. And so, that's kind of where I think the subscribe monthly comes in handy, right? As you're like, I'll try these 2 or 3 out, see how it goes, maybe drop a couple, add a couple more, and just kind of experiment with it to get up and running. So how to get started with Fast Track Appointment Program. You go to that page that I put in the chat, ftap.insure/register. You get matched, see the carriers that suit your agency. You select those carriers to onboard with. You can view the carrier's description and the onboarding timeframes in that little drop-down menu that I showed you right on that page. You can complete the simple 6-step onboarding process in about 5 minutes. Basically, you need your W-9 and you need your certificate for your E&O, and that's really about it. Everything else you probably know off the top of your head. Onboard with most carriers within 1 to 30 business days and begin your FTAP journey. If you have any questions, you can reach out to us. You can respond to the email. You can post your questions here. We will see them. You can respond to the email you got for the webinar registration. We see those too. But you can also go to the contact us portion on the Fast Track Appointment Program page. Fill that out. There's a chat option. You can call us. However you want to get a hold of us, we are here to help you. So thank you so much for your time today, and we look forward to seeing you on the Fast Track Appointment Program.